when we, the African diaspora, visit Burkina Faso. We welcome you. We welcome you. Yes, we welcome you. You're home. You're home. This is your home. We welcome you. We welcome you. This is your home. Burkina Faso, the landlocked country, its capital is Ouagadougou. It's bordered by Benin, Ghana, Togo, Niger, Mali, and Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire. The land of the upright men. My whole life, it felt like a piece of me was missing. It was more than just a feeling of out of place in America, Britain or Jamaica, or a simple curiosity about my ancestors. It was a deep historical ache I just couldn't explain, a phantom limb, a sorrow that wasn't even mine, but I carried it every single day. Some people called it 400 years of intergenerational trauma. I just called it a ghost. A constant quiet hum of displacement, living right under the surface of my life. Finally, I decided I couldn't live with that ghost anymore. I had to face it. I had to find its source. So, I booked a ticket to a place I knew only from maps and headlines. Burkina Faso, the land of the upright men. That wasn't a vacation, that was a pilgrimage. I went to Burkina Faso not just to find that missing piece, but to make it whole again, to heal it. This is the story of that journey. The decision to go to Africa wasn't a thunderclap moment. It was a slow burn, 1,000 tiny paper cuts to the soul. I felt it in history books that start with our humiliation, as if our entire story began in shame. I felt it in the well-meaning but ignorant questions from co-workers about my hair, my culture. But where are you really from? The question always hung in the air, a constant reminder that I was seen as other, a guest in a house my ancestors helped build. I tried to fill that void. I read books, I watched documentaries. I even traced my family tree until the trail went cold, washed away by the tides of the Middle Passage. The information was important, sure, but it felt sterile. It was like reading a description of food without ever tasting it. My soul was still starving. Historical trauma isn't just a concept, it's something alive. That inexplicable anxiety, that feeling of always being on guard, it's the inherited coping mechanism that were once about survival on a plantation, but are now just detrimental to our mental health. It's looking at my own hands and wondering whose hands they look like. From time to time, a place I never know. The pain of that disconnect, that deliberate erasure of memory and culture became a physical weight. It was a heavy coat I couldn't take off, even on the sunniest days. Eventually, the why became louder than fear. And why Burkina Faso? It isn't one of the more common destinations for the diaspora homecomings like Ghana or Senegal. Maybe that's what called me to it. It felt less like a well-trodden tourist path and more like an unwritten chapter. I read about its revolutionary history, the legacy of Thomas Sankara, and its name, the land of the upright people. I was drawn to the spirit of resilience. Then I heard about the current movement under His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré. a renewed push for Pan-Africanism, an open invitation for the diaspora to return, to connect. It felt like more than just a welcome. It felt like a recognition, a country actively saying, we see you, we remember you, come home. The moment the plane's wheels touched down in Ouagadougou, something inside me shifted. The air that hit my face as I walked down the steps wasn't just hot and humid. It felt ancient. It felt familiar. It was the kind of air that holds stories. My first breath of Burkina here felt like an exhale I had been holding for a lifetime. The drive from the airport was a beautiful assault on the senses. The red hearth, the vibrant colours of the traditional Faskeldan fanny cloth on the street, the symphony of horns and voices, the smell of wood smoke and spices. Everything was new, yet nothing felt foreign. The West often paints this picture of Africa that's all about poverty and conflict. But what I saw was life, resilience, joy, community, and a hustle that was deeply familiar. I saw people look like me, not just their skin, but the curves of their smile, the gesture of their hands, the way the mother held her child. It was like seeing pieces of my own reflection in a crowd of a million strangers who didn't feel like strangers at all. One afternoon, I sat with a group of elders under a massive bamboo tree. We didn't share language perfectly. We shared something deeper. Through a young translator, they told me about their village, their ancestors, their traditions. They spoke of Bikindi, the idea of integrity and uprightness that is the core of the nation's identity. They didn't see an African diasporan. They saw a descendant who'd been away for a very long time. One of the elders, a woman with eyes that held generations of wisdom, took my hands. She looked at it, then into my eyes, and she said something in the Maori language. The translator whispered to me. She says, "You have the hands of our grandmother." She says, "The ancestors are happy you have returned." Tears ran down my face, not tears of sadness, but of recognition, a deep soul-shaking recognition. In that moment, 400 years of distance collapsed. The ghost I had been living with finally had a face, a name, a place. It wasn't a spectre of trauma anymore. It was the spirit of my ancestors, our ancestors, simply waiting for me to come back and listen. I met through a traditional leader, a man whose practice stretched back through his family further than anyone could count. It wasn't some mystical figure from a movie. He was a quiet, dignified man who knew every plant in the area and had a profound understanding of the human spirit. I told him my story, the feeling of being disconnected, of carrying a sorrow that wasn't mine. I told him about the ghost. He listened patiently, his eyes never leaving mine. And when I finished, he didn't offer simple comfort. He just begun to prepare a mix of herbs, explaining that the body and spirit aren't separate. To heal one, you have to address the other. He said the wounds of my ancestors were carried in my blood, not as a curse, but as a memory waiting to be acknowledged. He led me through a simple, quiet ceremony. It was an internal process of remembrance. He asked me to speak the names of the family I knew, and then just to hold space for the ones whose names were lost. He spoke of the land, of the soul beneath my feet, and how it was the same soul my ancestors had walked on. Returning to the land, he said, was the first step to reclaiming the spirit. And as I sat there, something profound happened. It wasn't a lightning bolt. It was a quiet settling. The constant low-grade hum of anxiety that had been the soundtrack of my life just stopped. The weight on my shoulders didn't just lighten, it dissolved. It felt this overwhelming peace, a feeling of being completely and irreparably home, the feeling of a fractured bone finally setting right. My healing felt personal, but I realized it was part of a larger collective moment, a collective movement, the Pan-African vision of leaders like Thomas Sankara and the current spirit of revival under His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré. It isn't just a political rhetoric, it creates real pathway to healing. When a nation actively works to reclaim its own identity, it creates a space for individuals to do the same. The spiritual welcome and the powerful statement that your identity wasn't just stolen, but that it can be found again. This is a government, a nation, acknowledging the wounds and actively offering a suture. I came to Burkina Faso to heal myself, but I discovered my healing was tied to the healing of the continent itself. The ghost is gone. In its place, there's a chorus of ancestors. They don't haunt me, they ground me. They are the source of strength, not sorrow. My trip didn't magically erase 400 years of history, but it reframed it. It gave me a beginning to my story, a preface to the chapter of our humiliation. And in doing that, it changed the meaning of everything that came after. My story is no longer just about trauma and survival. It's about heritage, resilience, and a deep, enduring strength. This pilgrimage wasn't an end. It was the beginning of living my life, not as a fractured descendant, but as a whole person. If this story resonates with you, please like the video that follows, or indeed subscribe to the Motivated channel. And if you wish to take this journey with us, join us on our trip to Burkina Faso, which begins on the 26th of January through to the 9th of February. You are all most welcome. Thank you. What happens when we, the African diaspora, visit Burkina Faso? We welcome you. We welcome you. Yes, we welcome you. You're home. You're home. This is your home. We welcome you. We welcome you. This is your home. Burkina Faso, the landlocked country, its capital is Ouagadougou. It's bordered by Benin, Ghana, Togo, Niger, Mali, and Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire. The land of the upright men. My whole life, it felt like a piece of me was missing. It was more than just a feeling of out of place in America, Britain, or Jamaica, or a simple curiosity about my ancestors. It was a deep historical ache I just couldn't explain, a phantom limb, a sorrow that wasn't even mine, but I carried it every single day. Some people called it 400 years of intergenerational trauma. I just called it a ghost, a constant quiet hum of displacement living right under the surface of my life. Finally, I decided I couldn't live with that ghost anymore. I had to face it. I had to find its source. So, I booked a ticket to a place I knew only from maps and headlines. Burkina Faso, the land of the upright men. That wasn't a vacation. That was a pilgrimage. I went to Burkina Faso not just to find that missing piece, but to make it whole again, to heal it. This is the story of that journey. The decision to go to Africa wasn't a thunderclap moment. It was a slow burn, 1,000 tiny paper cuts to the soul. I felt it in history books that start with our humiliation, as if our entire story began in shame. I felt it in the well-meaning but ignorant questions from co-workers about my hair, my culture. But where are you really from? The question always hung in the air, a constant reminder that I was seen as other, a guest in a house my ancestors helped build. I tried to fill that void. I read books, I watched documentaries, I even traced my family tree until the trail went cold. Washed away by the tides of the Middle Passage. The information was important, sure, but it felt sterile. It was like reading a description of food without ever tasting it. My soul was still starving. Historical trauma isn't just a concept, it's something alive. That inexplicable anxiety, that feeling of always being on guard, it's the inherited coping mechanism that were once about survival on a plantation, but are now just detrimental to our mental health. It's looking at my... Whoa, oh, the whole there. I know. I hear you. I feel you. I know you understand that narration and its feelings, its strengths, its sensitivity. And we will return to this. We will return to it. But for now, this is the motivator here. This is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the feeling. How are you feeling, people? How are you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling fantastic. I'm feeling actually outstanding, in fact. Absolutely outstanding. We've got a truly inspirational podcast coming to you in approximately 40 minutes' time, when we'll be interviewing our guests from Burkina Faso. And I'm assuring you, you'll find my guests, you'll find the experience truly inspirational. So hold on until then. Hold on. But until that time, let me go through a few of the usual formats for this part of the podcast. And I'll begin, of course, by recognizing the past contributors to the Motivator Show. And I know you all agree when I say what it was last transmission, the Aquaza Day, special Aquaza Day transmission. Okay, a Kwanzaa Day, that a Cannes festival, the Asante Festival, cultural festival that recognizes their monarch, that recognizes their history, their culture and tradition, that give substance to who they are as a people. I was there live. It was a truly inspirational experience. I was steeped in the Can culture and tradition. I was steeped in the experience in the moment. I was blessed by all those that attended. I want to thank you all that attended. Special thanks, of course, goes out to the organisers of the event. I would give recognition to the organisers of that event. Indeed, Councillor Natasha Ennen, who was at the helm, as it were, to ensure that event for the third time was a successful event. Well done, Councillor Natasha Edding. Well done, well done. Let's give credit where credit is due. Our role here on the Motivator Show was to give substance to the event so that those of you who were considering the event would go, and those who were not sure were just too far away to attend would appreciate the majesty, the importance, the reasons why such events are held. I acknowledge you all. Well done, well done. Beautiful event, beautiful event. We need more of those from right across the continent and indeed the Caribbean. Praise be, praise be. Well done to the organisers again. Well done to you all. Well done, well done. And of course, the representative of His Majesty was present. I want to recognise him also. Praise be, praise be. And long may such events continue. Well done. We'll be there next year. Yes, there you go. You see the fireworks? Wow, that was spontaneous. Okay, all right then. I'm gonna have such fun today. Thank you. Thank you. A further evidence of African culture and tradition that goes back not just a decade, not just a century, that go back many millennia. In other words, thousands of years. Yeah. Well done. Well done. Well done. I also want to give recognition to my prior guests. Or in fact, let's go back to the Equality. Let me also recognize my guest in the studio. I know you've all responded well to him, Kodjo. Wasn't he a natural teacher who claimed not to be a teacher, but we eventually discovered he is a son of a head teacher. And absolutely, if the world were led by teachers, the world would be a transformed environment. Because we'd all understand and appreciate each other's culture and tradition, our cuisines, yep, and those things that makes us distinctive, yep. But we're all one people. We are one race. Yeah, we are indeed the human race. There's no such thing as some separation. Otherwise, we could not mate with each other. So well done, Kodjo. Wasn't he magnificent? And whenever we refer to His Majesty, or say to for the second, he of course bowed. Let me bow to them both, to His Majesty and indeed to our guests. Praise be. Praise be. Yes, praise be. We acknowledge you. We acknowledge you. Well done you. And long may that tradition continue, as I say. It's also important for me not only to recognize the Equality episode, which clearly resonated with the vast majority of you out there, and without a shadow of a doubt, judging by the views and the likes and the forward on, clearly resonated with you. I want you to recall the episode before that one, of course, where we referred to Jamaica's multi-billion-dollar ganja revolution. Yeah, okay. Of course, ganja, yep, or cannabis, as some people would refer, but ganja, the particular strain in Jamaica, is of course the sacred sacrament of the Rasta communities, the Rasta peoples worldwide, not just in Jamaica. Once upon a time, just having a small amount of a plant, a God-given plant, could have resulted in a young man being incarcerated, jailed for a period of time, yeah? Or suffering the indignity of being pulled up by the local police force. Of course, that has all now changed. Yep, recognizing, appreciating the Rastafari sacrament is ganja. Yeah? And indeed, it's the root of a potentially multi-billion-dollar industry, as it is already in the United States of America, where, of course, they liberalize the use of ganja, yeah, so that they could make money from it. Jamaica will make money from ganja. And I see, and I've spoken to so many of the Rasta communities and other communities in Jamaica, and they are plotting the forward march of the ganja, of the Jamaican branded ganja, of course the purest, most powerful ganja in the world. That's the ganja you want. You don't want these others. That's the one you want if you want genuine ganja. Oh yes, long may such people continue to honor themselves, their culture, their ancestry. Yeah. The Rasta community continuously reminded the African communities across the Caribbean, the Americas, worldwide, of their history, their culture and traditions. Yeah? A Rasta never forgets that they are ultimately African. Never forget it. And of course, I give praise and jar and recognize, of course, Haile Selassie the First, yeah, the Emperor of Ethiopia. Let's recognize him and his great work. The founder of the EWF, Ethiopian World Federation, became the cornerstone behind all the African organizations outside of Africa, became the cornerstone, the inspiration to ensure that they continued and thrive in a hostile environment. I honor all Ethiopians. I honor all Ethiopians. I honor, of course, the African, therefore, the Rasta communities worldwide. Their steadfastness, they're the ones who stood strong and tall and took the abuse, took the beatings, but never, 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 never had doubt of who they really are, would never succumb to the propaganda that says otherwise. Praise Jah. Oh yes, Rastafari. Long may it continue. Long may it continue. And indeed, only a few days ago, it was announced. Okay, you remember Paulus Hoshing was my guest in that episode. It was announced since that episode that Jamaica is going to the polls. Okay, and Ras Paulus made it clear that Mark Golding, that forward-thinking, inspired politician from Jamaica, who heralded the ganja bill through the Jamaican Parliament and therefore decriminalised it and therefore ensured that Jamaica was no longer locking up innocent men and women. Okay, is the leader of the PNP party, People's National Party of Jamaica, and of course is on course to be Jamaica's next Prime Minister. But you have to vote, you have to campaign, you have to vote. Yep, Jamaica, you have to campaign, you have to vote for PNP. And long may you do so. If in doubt, ask questions. But that's the only way forward if you want a future for Jamaica. Yes, Raspalis, I said it, and I respect the fact that the Rasta community across the island of Jamaica and beyond are mobilising the people to ensure that the PNP government will be the government after September the 3rd. Long may it be so. Long may it be so. And we've contributed to that positive process. Long may it continue so. A peaceful election process, despite the fact that those who are detractors would attempt to, of course, make it violent and unworthy. We know better. We know their tricks. We will not succumb to their tricks. Well done to you all. Respect to the Honourable Mark Golding. Respect to you. Long may you lead the PNP party. Lead us to victory. Time come! Time come! Time come! Oh yeah, time come. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my gosh, yes. And this is just less than a handful of the podcast we've had thus far. I want to give a recognition, 2 more minutes, a recognition to the previous podcast, to that one, of course, where we demanded that Britain's court must respect African indigenous faiths. Very important. How can you have a people running into the millions and not respect our indigenous faith systems? Yeah? And therefore, you go to court, you have to give an oath on other people's faith. Can you imagine? How insulting is that? The campaign is on, but I'm aware that real progress has been made, that indeed our elder Darian has made significant stride, and we'll reach out to him in the not too distant weeks and months so he can report back on progress made since appearing here on The Motivator Show, which is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the taking. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes. No further humiliation. We stand up strong. We are indeed the upright people. Yeah. The incorruptible people. Praise Jah. Yeah. Long may it continue. Oh my gosh. Let me pause there for a while. There's much has happened this past 2025. I've had some truly inspired guests, inspired episodes of The Motivator Show. You can see them all. They're all there, stored for your review in The Motivator Show. And that's, of course, on YouTube and Facebook. Go to YouTube first. That's the place to go. You'll see each of our prior episodes. Please, when you see them, give us a comment or give us a like, or at least acknowledge the fact that you've watched that video and share the connection to that video with your family, friends, your networks, and wider communities to help us to spread the word. It tells the YouTube algorithm that this is an episode that the rest of the billion plus YouTube users want to hear about. Well said, and thank you for your support. Yep. Subscribe if you haven't done so previously. Subscribe if you haven't done so previously. We acknowledge you and we hear and see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now it's time for that part of the wonderful section, which is, of course, the lifestyle messages. Lifestyle messages are compiled in response to what is a clear and present danger, particularly here in the African heritage communities, both in Europe, Britain, the Caribbean, and the Americas. We have a health pandemic. Yes, I'm going to call it a pandemic. We have double, treble the average rates of obesity in our communities. At every turn, in particular, you see our women are fat, obese, dangerously so. That affects their health and well-being, affects their ability to have healthy children, affects their ability to participate in their relationships, intimate relationships, or indeed in society generally. This unhealthy weight where far too many women are heavier than the men is dangerous. It is damaging. We need sensitively to address this issue. Similarly, unusually high levels of diabetes in the communities. Again, these are avoidable conditions. Yeah? It is very much to do with our lifestyle. Yeah? And it is this which we must give light to. Obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure or hypertension, high blood pressure, where your blood pressure is too high, again, very much to do with your lifestyle. Yeah, respiratory conditions, asthma and emphysema, conditions that seem to befall our community in unusual levels. Cancers, which is coming to us at unusual levels, that mixture of food that are unhealthy, processed, over-reliant upon processed foods, okay? Absorbing far too many chemicals and recording a chemical dangerous cocktail into our bodies. It's our lifestyle. We need a purer, cleaner, more active lifestyle if we're to resist the maladies in the environment. These are very simple messages, okay? Very simple messages. It's not for me to preach. It's for me to remind you of what the experts say to us so we can avoid many of these maladies. Many I have not even mentioned thus far, okay? It is very important. Please hear these messages. Do not turn off. Do not be offended. It is not intended to offend because you are I and I am you. Yeah. You remember the Ubuntu sayings, yes? I am because we are, therefore I am. We are one. Therefore, your pain is my pain, and vice versa. I want you to listen to what the professor says. This professor is a man who's academically and professionally accomplished. Yeah? He's the public health director for London, an extremely important person. His whole life is devoted to health generally. But listen to his message. Watch this video. Professor Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5. Prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect, rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health. I think you'd all agree, those are common sense advice. Okay. Now, if you didn't absorb it, this show, of course, is being recorded. I wish to encourage you, I implore you to watch it again and listen to the words of the professor. Listen to his words. Don't listen to mine. I'm just an amateur, yeah? But he's the authority. He has devoted his life to your health and well-being. He devoted his life to understanding what you need to maintain a long, healthy lifestyle. And far too many members of the communities are not living that healthy lifestyle. Not exercising being one, eating food that is detrimental to our health, okay, maintaining stress in our lives, yeah, being argumentative, being stressful at all times, okay, and of course, undermining our spiritual well-being. We do this consciously and subconsciously, but far too many of us is subconscious behavior. But we're here to raise our consciousness so you are aware what we are doing to ourselves and what we can take control. As King Kabbalah of the African Continental Unity Party would say to us, we are the change makers, yeah? We are the people that will effect change, not a single individual. It is our decisions, our individual decisions that will make the difference in your life, in your family's life, in your network, your community's life. We are the change makers. The cumulative impact of your individual decision will have an impact on your family, your friends, your network, and your wider community. So we are all change makers. I say again, we are all change makers. We have a responsibility, collective responsibility, to take care of our health because we have knock-on impact on others around you. You are not an island. We are but one human family. So what I'm heartened by is the numbers of you who've heard these messages. I'm heartened by your messages to me. I'm heartened by you've understood the principle that it is better to do this type of activity together. Look, if you want to go fast, yeah, if you want a quick result, yeah, you do it by yourself, not a problem. But if you want to go far, and if you want that achievement to be sustained now into the future, far future, we do it together because we're all supporting each other. And because of that, it's less strain because we're doing it together. Yeah? When you're feeling a little weak, the others around you will pick you up and help you going. That's how we run the marathon. That's how it works. That's why civilizations have evolved, because people working together are a much better combination than an individual trying to build their own city, build their own home. If we do it together, we're more than likely to build sustainable environments, sustainable buildings, in sustainable places so our families can thrive. That's how it works. That's how civilizations have always worked. So what I'm heartened by is the numbers of you who've heard these messages and have responded in a positive way. It is not hollow words. Remember, that's why the motto of these shows, these podcasts, is that we translate words into action, because success is ours for the taking. So watch these people who've come together in common aim and common purpose. Watch them working together. No, please, let me say that again. Watch these people playing together, exercise together in common aim and common purpose. Watch on. Watch them. If it's happening in your community, in your immediate network, why not? Watch them. It's beautiful. There we go. Oh, yes. Come on now, get up. Get up. Just for a few minutes. Come on, get off your chair. That's it. Just bend your knees. Come on now. Get the blood flowing. Get up now. Come on, bend your knees. See them? They're big and they're small. Yet they're wide and they're thin. They've come together in common aim and common purpose. Look at that. Come on now. Are you just sitting down? Come on, get up. Oh, I can see you. Oh, yes. We're taking care of you. We're doing it together. But we want long-lasting impacts. That's what we want. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm stretching my leg. Oh, I'm stretching my arms. Oh, I move my hips. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We're saving lives, transforming lives. Come on, people. If you're sitting down, you need to get up. It's only a minute. Come on now. That's it. You can do it. We're saving lives. Yep. If you're a young person, we're preparing you for motherhood, for fatherhood. You're in good shape. Yes. Yes. That's the way forward. Prepare yourself. Remember, that's right. Hydrate yourself. Ensure you have enough water. That's right. Good, healthy, balanced diet. That's what the professor recommends for you all. Get up. Be with nature. That's it. That's how they've achieved this. Pool their resources. Hire these facilities. Got a trainer. What on him for him? There he is. There he is. He showed them how to do this. Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. Look at that. Come on now. I hope you're doing this now, people. I hope you're engaged. You're not sitting down. We want you in the best possible health. If you're in the best possible health, you can continue to watch the Motivator Show for a long, long time. Yes, take the knee up. Come on now. Come on, that's it. That's it. That's right. Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I can feel you. That's it. Make sure the children are doing it as well. You see their children are there? The children are learning from the adults. These are good habits to learn from the adults. Exercise every day, regardless of your age. That's right. You have it. Wonderful. That's it. I can feel you. That's right. That's right. Last 30 seconds now. Come on now. Get those knees up. Nice and steady. Oh, yes. And don't say we don't take care of you here on the Motivator Show. We care for you. We love you. Yeah. We empathize with you. We're here. We're with you. Only another 20 seconds left now. That's it. There you go. See those children? They're enjoying themselves. It's fun. Yes. Wonderful. 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 I hope you agree. That's worthwhile. Every episode, we devote a few minutes to lifestyle messages. We've got ample evidence that we have transformed lives. Ample evidence we have saved lives. Just those simple lifestyle messages provided to you by the profession, not me, by the professionals. Yeah, Professor Fenton, Public Health Director for London, is advice I'm likely to take because that's what he advises. He knows what he's talking about. Yes, he's not some amateur quack. He understands the importance of exercise, good food, healthy food. Yep, and having a positive mental outlook, getting out with nature, feeling and experiencing, the outside, not staying indoors all the time. I hope that those messages resonate with you. And there you have it, ample evidence, and I say again, ample evidence that those exercises, those lifestyle messages are transforming lives. And if you just happen to be in London, or indeed, if you live in South London and you wish to meet that group I've featured on the show, let me put their details on the screen. Like, there you go. They're called Countdown Health and Wellbeing. They meet every Monday or Wednesday from 6:30 to 8 p.m. There you are. And they're based at 12 Tatum Street. You've got that? 12 Tatum Street, which is a wharf in London. And the postcode is S for sugar, E17 1T for Togo, N for Nigeria. The email address is countdown0405@gmail.com, or you can reach out to them by phone. If in the UK, it's 07960 803 588. These are a positive group of people, human beings, devoted to helping other human beings to get fit again. Yep, or at least be on the path to fitness and have a better relationship with their bodies, with food, the environment, and indeed their general mental, indeed spiritual health. That's worth promoting, isn't it? I hope you agree. That's worth promoting. Spending a few minutes in each of these podcasts to those positive messages. All righty. Well done, Countdown. Well done. Well done. Well done. I think now, in fact, there's one other announcement I want to make before I go to the main theme of today's show, which of course will focus on that great nation of Burkina Faso. Okay. And whilst we will definitely reference His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traore, absolutely, as King Kabada of the African Continental Unity Party would say, his words are not our words. They are indeed the words of the continents. So it is our word, I should say, forgive me. Yeah. What I really meant to say, he doesn't own the words. They are our words. And yes, he's an example of the direction, but it's our direction. We take ownership of those words. We take responsibility for their implementation. And of course, His Excellency President Ibrahim Traore is a Pan-Africanist. He wants to encourage, particularly those of the historic African diaspora, to return back to Africa, indeed, Burkina Faso. There is a movement currently underway to encourage as many of us, more than 250 million of us that exist worldwide, to sign up to a treaty, an AU treaty. Let me, in fact, put it on the screen. Some of you will remember. You recall my guest I had here in the studio, who gave light to an important treaty and described its importance to the African diaspora. Okay, there we go. And that's it. The Pan-African Treaty of the Sixth Region, the African Diaspora. Okay. In that episode, and you'll see in my YouTube channel that particular episode, and I urge you, if you haven't watched it, to watch it. He made it clear that it's an important step forward to ensure the diaspora's voice is being heard by the AU. Yeah? It's important. Therefore, it's open to all Africans of the diaspora, individuals, organizations, whether it be community organization, indeed religious organization, could all sign up to the Sixth Treaty so that you can meet and converse and elect representatives to sit in the around the AU table. It's an important development. And if you haven't seen the treaty, I urge you to do so. And the email address to request a copy of the treaty is as follows. The email address is Pan African Treaty, African Diaspora. Yep, Diaspora without the A at the end. Pan African Treaty, African Diaspora. Here you go. It's on the screen, okay, at gmail.com. Okay. I urge you, request a copy of it, read it, study it, but above all, sign it so you become part of a much wider Pan-African community. And together we will transform the world. Praise be. Praise be. It's those lofty ideas, it's those lofty ambitions. It is that is what will change the world. Be ambitious. Yep. Being ambitious for yourself, your family, your communities is what will change the world. It makes you less vulnerable to the manipulative capitalists who are currently doing great harm to the United States of America, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not going to reference the 47th president. I'm not going to call his name, but he's definitely causing great harm to that nation. And that big, beautiful bill of horrors, which again was another feature here on the Motivators Show, proven the abhorrentness of that presidency transferring $3.4 trillion from the poor to the rich. I say again, from the poor to the rich, and the middle class and the poor American will pay more tax over the next 10 years. But those who are on hundreds of thousands, indeed millions of dollars per year, will pay less tax over this period. Yep, relying upon the already discredited trickle-down theory. They tried it here in the 70s with the Thatcher government. It failed. It failed wherever it was implemented. I have no idea why my American cousins has fell for that again, that piece of propaganda. I do not understand it. But we've got to transform America. We cannot allow America to go rogue, because that's the course it's currently on. So I urge you to watch that particular episode of the Motivator Show. There are a number of them devoted to United States of America. Alrighty, it's now time for me to turn to the theme of today's podcast. You can see my background, a scene from Ouagadougou, the capital city of Burkina Faso. Okay, that remarkable nation, the nation of the upright people. I know I say upright men, forgive me. I know. The upright people of strength, integrity, incorruptible people. The nation that is shining a light on Africa. Yeah? The nation that has already formed the Federation of Sahel States, of AES states. And it's joined with, of course, Niger and Mali. And now have a joint pact. Yeah? And what they seek, of course, is one currency, one defense force, one economic strategy. Yep. Pan-Africanism, it's speaking to us, Pan-Africanism. They're overthrowing the old colonial border to create our own borders out of African ingenuity. Yeah. That's what they're seeking to do, to take responsibility for the future. And my guest, when he arrives in approximately 5 minutes' time, will outline what is actually happening within the country. It'll be unfiltered by the propaganda that you see through the Western press, either newspapers, radio, or TV multinationals, okay, who project an image of Africa of poverty, destitution, corruption, and failure to suit their needs. But they won't leave Africa. They will not leave it. They're happy to foster those ideas amongst Africans. Yeah. They did the same to Michael Manley, a previous PNP leader of Jamaica, to destabilize the country. Mysteriously, armaments, guns were appearing on the beaches of Jamaica, which of course then became the source of the many killings during Michael Manley's reign. Yes, that is exactly what happened. Manipulation, absolute manipulation. And they're doing the same in Africa still today. Yeah, still today. Yeah. You notice they removed General Langley. Yeah. The general responsible for Africa in the United States. They removed him because what did he do? He spread lies in Congress about the presidency of Ibrahim Traore, okay? But then had to eat his own words. He apologized. And of course, the reactionary 47th president, what did he do? He removed General Langley from his post. General Langley is indeed an African American. Yeah, there you got it. You've got it in one. You got it in one. We must not allow the propaganda that seeks to continue to heap humiliation on all Africans, to infer that civilization came to Africa last, for heaven's sake, the cradle of mankind. Yeah? The oldest manuscript, the oldest artifacts are found where? In Mother Africa. Praise Jah, yes. Rastafari. Yes, the truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to help my guest to come into the studio, and then we're going to start this interview. It's going to be a truly important interview, and one for you to pay very close attention to, because it's a great deal we all will learn and gain from this interview. Okay, right in the heart of Burkina Faso. Okay, so I'm going to play the intro video for a few minutes. I'm going to help my guest into the studio. So let's give it for a few minutes. Here we go. What happens when we, the African diaspora, visit Burkina Faso? We welcome you. We welcome you. Yes, we welcome you. You're home. You're home. This is your home. We welcome you. We welcome you. This is your home. Burkina Faso, the landlocked country, its capital is Ouagadougou. It's bordered by Benin, Ghana, Togo, Niger, Mali, and Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire. The land of the upright men. My whole life, it felt like a piece of me was missing. It was more than just a feeling of out of place in America, Britain, or Jamaica, or a simple curiosity about my ancestors. It was a deep historical ache I just couldn't explain, a phantom limb, a sorrow that wasn't even mine, but I carried it every single day. Some people called it 400 years of intergenerational trauma. I just called it a ghost, a constant quiet hum of displacement, living right under the surface of my life. Finally, I decided I couldn't live with that ghost anymore. I had to face it. I had to find its source. So, I booked a ticket to a place I knew only from maps and headlines. Burkina Faso. the land of the upright men. That wasn't a vacation. There you are, the land of the upright men, Burkina Faso, and I have it there. I have my guest in the studio, live from Burkina Faso. Good morning, sir. How are you? How are you?
Thank you very much, Mr. Demotivator. It
Yes,
is
sir.
my pleasure to be with you live from Ouagadougou, the
Mm-hmm.
capital of Burkina Faso. It is really a pleasure. It is really a joy. It is
Mm-hmm.
really the place for the diaspora to
It is.
really make the entrance
Mm-hmm.
into the transformative and
Yes.
economic vision of His
Yes.
Excellency Captain Abraham Traore.
Faith
Welcome.
be.
This is
Oh,
this is
wonderful.
Chief this is Chief Abundance.
Ah, abundance, yes. And I'm showing you people, he's full of abundance in every scope, every sphere you can consider. It's good to see you
Yes,
again.
yes,
Your
yes. Thank you very
vitality.
much.
Oh, oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for
much.
that introduction. Thank you for that introduction. You've introduced yourself as Chief Abundance. Okay. Now, I know you, and I've got a good understanding of your profile now, which is why we're having this dialogue. Can I
Certainly,
encourage you now? Can I encourage you just to say a little bit more about yourself, the organization that you belong to, and why it
certainly.
is you are in Burkina Faso now, speaking to us live from Burkina Faso? Please.
Thank you very much and
Hmm.
welcome again. I also
Hmm.
sent this link to my associate here, advisors, senior advisors to the president. So
Okay.
they will be also watching us live.
All right.
And
All right.
so, as mentioned before, I am Chief Abundance. And I formed this community, of which we are now in 57 countries around the world.
Mm-hmm.
That is called the Abundance Community Coin. Being registered in 6 countries, including Burkina Faso as well. And I will speak to why that is so important
Mm-hmm.
to the overall economic transformation of Burkina Faso in the era of digital technology. It is very
Yes.
important because
Mm-hmm.
what it will take fiat currency to do in 100 years in the digital world, it can be done in 1 year. And so we have
Yes.
seen how that technology is being remarkable change in the landscape of our financial sphere. And
Mm-hmm.
so I am Chief Abundance. I'm from the beautiful twin island state of Antigua and Barbuda.
Welcome.
Um,
Welcome.
yes, my first entrance into Africa was in 2017. I went to Cameroon, and of
Mm-hmm.
course, they too are still dealing with their challenges with the
Mm-hmm.
English and the French. And
Yes.
so I was introduced to that atmosphere, an atmosphere that I've never been in before, coming from the West, where we don't see soldiers on the streets except they're
Mm-hmm.
parading. We don't see AK 46 or 48 or 45, what you call them.
Yeah.
We don't. We're not accustomed to that atmosphere. But that is what I
Mm-hmm.
was introduced to. And
Mm.
for me, I've always said to my global community that it is better to be prepared
Mm-hmm.
without given an opportunity than to be
Yes.
given an opportunity to which you're not prepared for.
Absolutely.
Because a good or an excellent opportunity can
Mm-hmm.
only make the unprepared appear ridiculous. And
Absolutely.
so,
Yes.
yes, and so I live by that philosophy to be prepared at all times, even
Mm-hmm.
without an opportunity. So coming to Africa, having
Yes.
given birth to the Abundance Community Coin in 2019, and I
Mm-hmm.
said to myself, His Excellency Captain Traore must have read my white paper before he took the reign
Mm-hmm.
of of power here, because
Uh-huh.
there's nothing in his agenda for Burkina Faso that is not in our white paper. And,
Indeed.
and
Yes.
so me coming here is aligned by the ancestors. I am
Yes.
here because
Yes.
it's not even by force. This came as an open door because
Yes.
once you are in alignment, the universe will give way.
That's
And
right. That's right.
it is according to one poet, I think, out of France, that says there's nothing in the world can stop an idea whose time has come. And
Well said.
so
Yes.
the time has come
Yes.
for us especially in the diaspora, to rise and shine and to make
Absolutely.
our position felt,
Yes.
and not only to support but to protect
Yes.
our able visionary that
Yes.
has, as it were, awakened that ancestral spirit, that
Yes.
has arise to the call that it is our time to be independent as the
Yes.
name of Burkina Faso, the
Yes.
independent and upright people. And so
Yes.
I am saying to the global community, my community as well, that this is the time. There comes a time in life where activities and opportunities only come once. This opportunity was divinely orchestrated. Now, I also want our people to understand the larger picture as to why it is so important to capitalize on this visionary leader and to support his initiative. It was allegedly said by the Russian president, referring to
Putin.
Africa.
Putin. Putin.
Yes. Yeah. The Russian president Putin allegedly once said that can anyone develop a
A,
cemetery?
indeed. A graveyard.
Can
Yes. I remember.
anyone,
I've got it here.
referring to Africa, can anyone develop a cemetery?
That's
Because
right.
he was saying that as Africans, when we enter into money on this continent,
You put the money.
we vacation in Dubai. We go to medical treatment in the US.
That's right.
We vacation in Europe, but
That's right.
and we take our children with us. But when we die, we come back home to Africa.
Yeah.
Here
Yes.
rise the question: can anyone develop a
A
cemetery?
grave. Absolutely.
And
Well said.
I have answered that question to Putin 5 years ago. Yes, we can, and yes, we will. And so the opportunity has given us, that is being presented by His Excellency, to defy what Putin says, and also what Dr. Lee says, allegedly of Harvard University. She once said, alleged, that we, as a people of color,
Oh,
are
yes.
primarily consumers. She
Yes.
says that they're not that they can create any outlandish product
Yes.
and
And
make
we will buy
billions
it.
from us.
Yes.
They can make billions from us. Any outlandish product, they can
Imagine.
make
Huh?
billions from us. And number three, she says that we as a people, we have allowed three characteristics to kept us in poverty. She says
Tell them, man.
greed.
Tell them. Tell
She
them. Tell
says
them. Yes.
she said ignorance, and she also says selfishness. So
Yes.
greed, ignorance, selfishness. She said those are the hallmark characteristics of we, people of color, that we will never come together even to do the good within our
Yes.
community. And so this mission that I am on, the mission of His Excellency, is to arrest all those adjectives and to
Absolutely.
and to build on the platform to which he has given us,
Mhm.
especially in the diaspora, to
Mhm.
come and partner with me.
Mhm.
Burkina Faso doors are open, and we are here to welcome our brothers and our sisters as they have welcomed me
Mhm.
royally into their arms. And they have
Okay, let me
said
take you. Mhm.
abundance, they said abundance, you are welcome to this place.
Wonderful. Yes. And that is what I wanted to say at your intro. You notice, people, notice my audience, how inspiring he is. Can speak with a oratory skill that few can master. Wonderful, wonderful. But I now need to ask you some bread and butter questions, okay? Basic questions that the diaspora asks
Yes.
very often. These are the often. So the first question, and forgive me, I don't want to offend any person from the country or you. First question posed to me always is safety. Now, we've heard press reports that the security situation in Burkina Faso has improved since His Excellency President's captain, indeed, Ibrahim Traore, took reins of power. Okay? How do you feel now that you've been in the country for a while now? How do you feel? Do you feel safe? Can you provide us with the first-hand testimony, please?
Yes, I want to say to my
Okay.
diasporan brothers and
Okay.
sisters that Burkina Faso
Hmm.
is a very safe and warm, welcoming country. And
Yes.
there are some actions that were taken back in October of 2022. His Excellency adopted a charter, or we can say a manifesto,
Yes.
and the question to which you ask,
Hmm.
among that six pillars or six main mission of the president.
Hmm.
Number one, to reestablish and strengthen security, the integrity of Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Within that mandate, he also provide the urgency and effective response to humanitarian crisis. A part of that agenda speaks to good governance, fighting against corruption, and
Hmm.
also to undertake political, administrative, and institutional reform,
Hmm.
strengthening the democratic culture, and
Hmm.
also to consolidate the rule of law. Within that
Okay.
mandate, he also emphasized working together um,
Yes.
towards national reconciliation and
Absolutely.
social
Yes.
cohesion.
Uh-huh.
And he summed it up to ensure the organization of free and transparent and inclusive
Hmm.
elections. And
Hmm.
so that
Hmm.
is what he set out to do, that was adopted, I think, in October 14, 2022 by the General Assembly. So
Okay.
security
Yes.
was and is
A
still
priority.
his focus point, because without security you cannot
Yes.
invest. Without
That's right.
security
That's
you
right.
you will not attract and able to execute
Hmm.
your agenda. Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you for that response. It's very detailed, and we appreciate you. Your personal experience is that Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou, where you are, is a safe environment. Now, what about the borders? Is there particular borders which the president and his advisors are concerned? To what extent is that peace beyond the capital? I suppose the question we're asking.
Yes, thank you very much for that question.
Hmm.
Burkina Faso is no different than Mali, Niger, no different than Ghana, no different than what is happening in Nigeria.
Okay.
A matter of fact, I can say even go down to the Democratic Republic of Congo,
All right.
where they are always out in fires.
Yes.
Burkina Faso at this time is primarily a safe and stable country.
Right.
Burkina Faso borders Ghana. There's
Yes.
no issues there. There's security is under control. Trade people applying their trade because, as you know, Burkina Faso is landlocked. So
Yes.
the
Yes.
produce comes in from Ghana. They comes in from Togo. There's no issue there. Very peaceful. A matter of fact,
Yes.
before I came here, I flew through Ghana and Togo. And
Okay.
yes, and Burkina Faso is also landlocked with the Ivory Coast. Now,
Yes. Cote d'Ivoire.
there is
Yes.
there yes, yeah, 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 Cote d'Ivoire. Now, there is where some pockets of tensions,
Okay.
were seen popping up, and again, is because of what has happened here, the transformation in leadership and policy. It
Yes.
is not resonating well with the French. And so they're
Oh.
using, oh, yes, they're using, yes, the leadership of His Excellency Captain Traore is a
Yes.
breath of fresh air, and it is a
Yes.
threat. It's a threat to France and is stranglehold on the other nations in Africa.
Yeah.
And so that was the isolated area where we had now and then some pockets of insurgents.
I
But His
understand. Yes.
Excellency,
Yes.
but His Excellency has identified the areas and they have secured the integrity of the
Mm-hmm.
borders of Burkina Faso.
Mm-hmm.
So you are welcome. And
Thank
I am in Ouagadougou now.
you.
I should be in Bobo, which is the second largest city
Yes.
by tomorrow. And it's
Right.
about 350 kilometers, 350, 40 kilometers from where I am. And it's a peaceful and safe
Mm-hmm.
journey, whether by
Mm-hmm.
land or by air. So, my
Right.
diasporians, you have nothing to worry about. It is for this
Thank you.
reason you it
Yes.
is for this reason you were born. Fear
There you
not.
go.
Let
Hey.
us move forward.
Oh, absolutely right. Thank you. And I just for the benefit of the audience, I can tell you that I've investigated this particular subject in detail, and I've ensured that the many borders. It's got quite a number of countries to which there is borders, and you're quite correct. The Ivory Coast, Cote
Yes,
d'Ivoire border is where the
yes,
tension might exist, but the other part, the other 95% of the borders, as it were, is secure. And you can tell that this young man at 36 years old is both
yes,
mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically ready for all comers. Okay, he is always ready for those who will disrupt Burkina Faso. That's why he dresses the way he does, to ensure it's understood that we prepare. But look, we prepare for the worst, but we appreciate the best.
yes. Very, very,
Question
very,
for you
very
then.
important. Very, very
But
important. And
I want to
and
take this
and
further. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yes.
yes,
Go ahead.
yes, and we must take that in the context of
Hmm.
what is happening.
Yes.
We must never forget that
Hmm.
history is being
Yes.
unfolding before our eyes.
Absolutely.
You're talking
Yes.
you're talking about the spirit of Thomas Sankara, the father of the
Yes.
nation.
Sankara. Yes. Please
You're
go ahead.
talking about this.
Yes.
You're talking about the spirit of Dr. Kwame
But
Nkrumah. You're
Kwame
talking
Nkrumah.
about you're
Absolutely.
talking about Silvano Olympio of Togo. We're talking about
Yes.
Mandela. We're talking about Gaddafi.
Yes.
We're talking
Yes.
about Patrice Lumumba,
Patrice Lumumba.
Julius
Yes.
Julius Julius Ineri,
Yes.
Samora Michel. We
Yes.
are riding on the ancestral spirit of these
Yes.
Pan-Africanists. And
Okay.
it is
Wonderful.
for
Yeah.
this reason and time why His Excellency is born. And so
Yes.
we must support these initiatives because our ultimate goal, as in our white paper, is to
Hmm.
usher in the United States of Africa. One
Yes.
currency,
Hold on. No, no, no.
one
Oh,
currency,
slow down.
one
Say that
military.
slowly. Say that slowly again. Come on. You got to say that with a emphasis. You're
Yes,
waiting to
yes,
usher in. Say it again, please.
yes,
Say that
yes.
again. Say it
The
again.
ultimate goal here is to usher in the United States of Africa. One
Absolutely.
currency, one military,
Yes.
one people,
Yes.
one vision.
Yes.
United we stand. And that is the real goal here
Oh, let's clap.
because
Let's clap. Yes. Yes. Yes.
that's the
Yes.
unity. That's the
Yes.
unity. That's the
Yes.
unity.
Yes. Okay. Go on.
Thank you.
Go on. Keep it in
Thank
your
you.
stride. There you go.
Yes,
Keep going.
yes. And so, we must understand what we're up against. Because if you do not, as Marcus Garvey would say, that a
Yes.
people that do not know their history is
Mm-hmm.
like a tree without root.
Without the roots.
And so we must know our history. We must know where we came from. And
Mm-hmm.
so we are now basically uniting ourselves. It is a call for action. It is a unique opportunity given not only to the Africans on the continent, but the
Mm-hmm.
diaspora of which they say we
Yeah.
are the sixth region.
Yes.
That's what they say. We are the sixth region. And
Yes.
so
That's right.
it is for us to now create that economic channel between Africa and the diaspora. And I think His
Absolutely.
Excellency has set the stage.
Thank you. And thank you for that. It's beautifully said, well articulated, and I know it's resonating with the audience. I have to say that whenever I discuss this subject with the diasporans, okay, I asked that question when you said it earlier on in regards to holidays, leisure time. Where do you spend your money? Okay. So the question to you, and this hopefully will help um, others to overcome the idea that Africa is not a place for holidays. Okay. Should Burkina Faso be viewed as a tourist destination? And if yes, why? What is its special features? What is its cultural heritages? What is so special about that country that would make it a tourist destination? Please
All
tell
right.
us.
Yes. Africa, except for Gambia,
Mhm,
South Africa,
mhm,
tourism doesn't really play a major
mhm,
revenue earner
mhm,
in the African countries. And
mhm.
it's not unique to Burkina Faso, Mali, not even Liberia that has, coastal, crystal clean, tropical ocean. And so what Africa has relied on for years is the endowment of natural resources,
Yes,
of
minerals.
which
Yes.
there are no shortage of that here in Burkina Faso,
Mhm.
Mali, Niger, Liberia, Ghana, Nigeria. You call it. Africa is endowed, and
Yes.
so most of the revenue, comes from the natural resources. However, um, we want to create a transformational image, rebranding,
Mhm.
especially the way we look at Africa as a whole,
Yes.
beginning from Burkina Faso. And so one of the initiatives that I am embarking upon here, apart from the media, of which I will get into to rebrand, reshape the image of the country, uh, the the Abundance Afro Diaspora City.
Oh.
This is a unique niche within
Mm-hmm.
the broader economic landscape, the vision of the president to
Okay.
embrace the diaspora. And so the Afro Diaspora City will sit on 10 square miles of land to start. Within that city, it will really bring economic diversity. We're talking about industrialization because a
Mm-hmm.
country cannot reach to first world status, of
Mm-hmm.
which we are seeking to do from
Mm-hmm.
Burkina Faso without industrialization. We
Yes.
must begin to manufacture. We must not
Mm.
be always the consumer. And so
Mm-hmm.
within that economic, and I've also dubbed it as the technological economic free zone.
Okay.
Technological economic free
Economic
zone.
free zone.
Because we
Right.
cannot
Right.
escape technology. We cannot
Mm-hmm.
escape the digital era of
Indeed.
financial transformation. We
Yes.
cannot ignore because there is where the young people are. And Africa
Absolutely.
have no short, there is no
Exactly.
shortage of youth on this continent.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
we must be able to harness those
Mm-hmm.
potential because
Yes.
the chaos that you see here on Africa is because of lack of opportunities for the youth.
Opportunities. Yes. That's
They
right.
are idling, they have nothing to do, and so they're
That's right.
easily persuaded and form themselves into jihad, form themselves
Yes.
into all kind of groups to cause
Yes.
disturbance. With
Yes.
economic development, the mandate of this president, he realizes that. And that is why he also has a ministry for not only for economic, but for digital economy. Because he understands the importance how
Mm-hmm.
this world is going to be shaped by
Mm-hmm.
this technology. And so
Mm.
within the Afro, and this is another reason and a very pivotal point that we are at now. We are at a point where everyone, every person of color in the globe can support this initiative. Not
Mm-hmm.
everyone may able to come physically, but we have created an a system where by you plugging into that system, you can fast track, support, uphold, expand, maintain the vision of His Excellency to
Thank
rise
you.
everyone, not someone, but to rise everyone. And so within the Abundance Afro Diaspora City, apart from the state of the art hospital and university, because we don't want
Mm-hmm.
our people to keep going to Europe, India, America for healthcare. I think
Mm-hmm.
where we are, Africa is better than that. And so
Can I
within
just,
that diaspora,
if I may, Chief
yes,
Abundance, and I'm going to get onto the economic sphere. I really was focused for the moment on the opportunities for leisure, hospitality, for those who see this as a place initially to visit for leisure purposes, really to get to know the people. And I suppose what we're looking at here is what are the historical sites that a person may visit to appreciate the peoples of the land? Okay,
yes,
the statue to the late and great Thomas Sankara, for
Sankara,
example,
that's correct. Yes,
which I have
yes,
seen. There are
yes. Actually,
wonderful
I visited.
natural
Actually, I
wonders.
visited
Yeah.
here yesterday.
Ah, you see? And there are many natural wonders. In fact, what I might do later on at another show is a show dedicated to the historic features, the wondrous
Yes,
features that make
yes,
Burkina Faso a
yes,
destination place for tourists, African
tourism.
tourists, the diasporas, yeah,
Mhm.
we want to increase because it has a great deal to see and learn to appreciate. And that's what
Yes, yes.
we need to fully capitalize on. So if I may, Chief Abundance, let me take you on to the other question I want to ask you. Could we, inferring the tourist opportunities there, I've read many articles which suggested that Burkina Faso was moving away from the CFA franc, which I understand is still the currency. If so, does the government revenue go to France, and do the French decide how much revenue Burkina Faso government receives back? Because that's the system set up to control the former French countries. Is that is that still the system in Burkina Faso?
All right, and now that's a very critical question,
Mhm.
and that's a question that has two parts. Now,
Okay.
that the question have answers, two part answers.
Okay.
Yes, Burkina Faso is still using the CFA franc, of which is being used by all the West African francophone countries. That is monitored by one central bank for all these countries. I
Hmm.
think seven or eight of them.
Okay.
However,
Okay.
uh, with the policy change in leadership and in monetary system and the economy, that agreement has been nullified
Ah,
by His Excellency.
explain.
That has been
Explain,
nullified.
please. Please explain what has
So
been notified. Yeah.
yes, that question to which you ask if there is a return um,
Hmm.
of of the monies, because all the monies, as you know, for those French countries are kept in France central bank, in central bank of France.
Hmm.
For Burkina Faso, um, that policy has changed, and so the money
Ah,
has not been reverted back to France. It is circulated in within the economy. I do not know how the mechanism work because I have
okay.
not been
Okay.
briefed by the Minister of Finance. But one thing I can say is that that policy no longer holds. Now, how are they overcoming that hurdle to
Hmm.
be able to work outside of the current central bank system? Is that the AES, the Alliance for the Sahel States, which is
Yes.
a three-party federation to include
Yes.
Niger, Mali, and Burkina
Yes.
Faso, have
Yes.
already agreed by policy to implement and to create their own central bank. And so these are decisions and policies that you just don't get up overnight and nullify. Even though you know you may have a change of policy, it will take some time to gradually create your own entire system isolated of France. But as it is,
Mm.
these are the things that are in the pipeline. And to further add that they have also decided that that currency, whatever the name will be backed by gold. It's
Yes.
very
Okay.
important. So it's
Yes.
not
Okay.
going to be a fiat currency without value. It will be
Okay.
backed by their gold. So
Okay. Uh,
that is what I know.
Thank you, Chief Abundance. I realize it's a technical question, but an important one. Is
Yes,
it appears, and not to offend other countries who are still within the grip of France, whose
yes,
government revenue go to the central bank in Paris. Okay,
hmm,
and it's the central bank of Paris that gives back 50% of the government revenue that they can spend
yes,
on the people, but it's on terms favourable to France, not
of
necessarily
course,
to the receiving country. They seem to be,
yes,
and forgive me, I don't wish to offend other countries, an absurd system totally humiliating system that
No,
another
you can say
country
it.
could.
You can say
Yes,
it. It
absurd.
is
Yep.
nonsensical. It is
Ah.
nonsensical. There is no
Hmm.
sense at all. And not only that, as an independent nation, France still
Mm.
get first preference, refusal. Everything is France, France,
Wow.
France. You know,
Hey.
and so
No.
no, there is a new day that has dawned in Burkina Faso.
Mhm. Well said. Thank you. Thank you. We might want further information on this, first-hand account as to
Certainly,
how the
certainly,
financial system is being
of
managed.
course,
I would hate
of
to
course.
buy CFA francs for Burkina Faso with the knowledge that France is getting a cut of it. That I would find personally
We're moving,
offensive.
we're
Okay.
moving away from that one, but you must
Hmm.
appreciate the complexity and the dynamics that you're not an island to your country by yourself.
No.
You are intertwined with the global system, and so before you
Yes.
take your hand out, before you must have something in place because
Okay.
Burkina Faso is interfaced with the global system.
It is.
You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
I
it has to
understand.
be
Yes.
carefully
Hmm.
meticulated, delicate, transactional policy because you're affecting a whole country's economy, and not only
Yes.
your country now, but we're talking about the federation.
Yes.
So,
Sahel
as I
states.
said,
Yes. Mhm.
mechanism are putting in place to address your question.
Is there a time frame, Chief Abundance? Is there a time frame that we can expect that Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali will have their own central bank, and all resources will go through them, and they'll be in total control of their currency, underwritten, of course, by gold? Is there a time frame in which we'd expect this to happen?
All right. Regarding to time frame, I will have to get that
Okay.
from the by the relevant advisor.
All righty.
Number
Okay.
yes, but with regards to what was the other question again? The time frame and
Yeah, the time frame in which these three countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and of course, get it right now, will have a
Niger,
single
Niger,
currency.
Niger.
Thank you, Niger. Thank you. We'll have a
Yeah.
single currency, single currency underwritten by their natural resource, in this case, gold, underwritten by gold. As you say, it would not be a fiat currency, in other words, it will float. It will be one that would be
Yes.
underwritten by gold.
Okay. All right.
It's a
So
time frame for implementation that we're
yes.
concerned with.
Okay. So
Mhm,
the other part of which I've answered that question is I don't. I will
mhm,
have to advise.
mhm,
But what
mhm.
I was also wanted to bring to you that the central bank will be in Burkina Faso. That's what I wanted to
Ah,
made
okay,
mention.
okay.
Yes.
Well,
Uh-huh.
I suppose we are. That's look. I know the other countries could just as well hold the central bank. It's the principle that we're concerned with because you cannot be a Pan Africanist and yet be using what is essentially a foreign currency to manage a Pan Africanist country. Full stop. So we're really keen to understand the time frame for
Yes.
implementation. Okay,
Yes.
that's what I'd say. I know there are good people in Mogadishu. I know there are good people in each of the capitals of those three countries. We the diaspora, and indeed all peoples across Africa, simple question, time frame. Could we want to continue to uphold you as being truly independent, not in simply word, but in deed as well? But financial independence is critical. It's critical. I want to get onto that further, if I may, Chief Abundance. Okay. Now, the diaspora are watching this broadcast. Okay, um, they possess valuable skills and indeed financial resources, and they are eager to explore business opportunities in Burkina Faso, indeed in Mali and Niger, particularly in sectors where a government is actively seeking diaspora investments. Okay. Can you tell us, can you give us maybe a quick summary of the sectors you believe, with your knowledge of these countries, that they would welcome inward investment from the diaspora, both financial investments, skills investment, indeed person investment, to ensure that those sectors can evolve, develop, and be fit for purpose to satisfy the needs of the people? What sectors are there that you would recommend?
Thank you very much for that question.
Mhm.
And as I said, Burkina Faso is open for business.
Yes.
Agro
Okay.
processing
Mhm.
would be on top of the list because food production, food security, food
Yes.
distribution, and
Yes.
even export. As
Uh-huh.
I'm from Antigua, and we import 98% of what we consume, but nothing comes from
Wow.
Africa.
Oh,
So agriculture,
nothing. Hold on a second. Hold on. See, that's
nothing
that's
comes from
another
Africa.
that's another benchmark we need to judge ourselves. Can you imagine the Caribbean countries hardly import items from Africa and very little from the Caribbean countries, those countries which are led by Africans essentially, politically speaking, I
Yes,
mean, okay, do not export to Africa. That is a situation as Pan Africanists we must change. But
thank you
I
very
don't want
much.
to divert too far. I don't want to divert too far. I still want to focus on the sectors in Burkina Faso. You
Yes,
mentioned
yes,
agriculture being an important
yes,
sector, which I
yes,
recognize.
yes.
Other sectors
Agriculture,
you give light to.
yes, agriculture, a very, very important sector. Hospitality
Aha.
is also very key. The health sector,
Hmm. Yes.
education, technology,
Yes.
infrastructure. All
Hmm.
these are areas that communication, that are
Yes.
critical areas to developed.
Yes.
You can find as you can dig as deep as you can into these sectors,
Right.
and
Right.
it will give you good returns on your investment because of the years of a country being raped.
Yes. Literally. Yep. Literally. Yep.
Yes,
We
literally
don't like to
being
use
raped.
that word. Forgive me. We don't like to use that word on YouTube because it upsets the
Oh, sorry.
algorithm. Okay, it's okay. We might use a slightly different word, but it's
Okay, can
the
we say being
context.
prostituted? Being
Indeed. Well,
prostituted.
you can.
Okay, so yes, so there are really investment opportunity in especially also
Hmm.
real estate, housing. There's a
Hmm.
shortage of real estate housing. Hotels,
Right. Right.
restaurants, these things
Right.
within the
Yes.
hospitality sector. As I said, energy also is also a good area to invest in. Renewable energy, network
Hmm.
interconnectivity
Right.
from one state to the next, and
Hmm.
also transportation
Okay.
to
Right.
move able to move goods and services. It's also very critical for sustainable economy. So,
Right.
and also in the digital economy as well. So those
Hmm.
are the sectors, agriculture, communication, housing, real estate, hospitality, healthcare sector, educational sector. Those
Hmm.
are core sectors that persons
Okay.
who are
That
looking
that's very
to.
that's very helpful. They give you an insight, doesn't it, as to
Yes.
for those who are considering visiting Burkina Faso, maybe as a tourist, but maybe they may come along with us, the Motivators Show, in January of next year. But they will give you a few stats that will help both yourself and the audience to appreciate the improvement that the Captain President Ibrahim Traore regime has produced. So going for last year, of course, real GDP growth, domestic product growth, it stands up at 4.9% in 2024, and that was up from 3% the previous year. Now, Inflation stands currently at 4.2%, which is well within an acceptable range. Extreme poverty in the country is now currently standing at 23.2%, a decline by 3% on last year. Okay. The fiscal deficit, the deficit run up by the government, currently stands at 5.6%. Let me tell you, that's a single-hand figure. Britain, the United States, Japan, most countries in Europe are in the in the double figures, and there are certain countries that are about to enter the treble figures. Okay, so that's an extremely good figure to take note. And these figures indicate that the country is on the right trajectory. There's no doubt about that. These are excellent figures, and it shows that the government is currently on a track for real growth that will benefit all peoples of the country, and not just some of the people of the country. But I think it's a really important point to make is desire to ensure that those who have the least receive the greatest attention, so they're no longer starving. There should be no starvation in Africa. Africa's wealth is in its people. The soil is rich, is more than able to support the people. I just want to put this other question to you, which is, I think, going to be quite important. You mentioned as part of the list of sectors to which the government is actively seeking diaspora and input. Can I just ask the question about healthcare? Because I'm conscious that there are many Africans here in Europe and in the Americas who stay in Europe and the Americas because as they get older, the need for healthcare, genuinely affordable healthcare, becomes more critical. So a question for you in regards to Burkina Faso. Is the healthcare sector in Burkina Faso dominated by the private providers, or does the regime view healthcare as a human right and therefore should be accessible to all Burkinabés, free at the point of use? Tell us, what's happening with healthcare in this country?
Yes, and that is a part of the president's wider agenda
Mm-hmm.
under that charter to which was
Okay.
adopted in October of 2022.
All
The
right.
rights to health care, the
Mm-hmm.
protection of
Mm-hmm.
of the disabled, the care for the elderly, um, the protection against domestic violence, against any sort of violence for that matter. And so it was, I think, 2 weeks ago, I had a discussion with one of the advisors, and the president plan, especially for healthcare, is to ensure that in every community there is a mini hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so that the people in the rural area can have the benefit to access health care that is provided by the government. And
Good.
that facility that facility is not going to be only a health care, but
Mm-hmm.
a recreational facility, a technical vocational facility where
Mm-hmm.
it is um, diverse in its services, so that you decentralize healthcare, you decentralize education, you
Mm-hmm.
decentralize vocational skills for the
Mm-hmm.
outskirts. Because Burkina
Right.
Faso is what a country of over 23 million people,
Yes.
a vast landscape. And so the president is very cognizant of the poor, the
Yes.
working class, his
Yes.
people access
Yes.
to basic
Yes.
health care. So
Yes.
that is a part of his agenda that was
Mm-hmm.
accepted in 2022 of October.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I see one of those in the chat have said, good morning, great leader. African unity is a must. One country, 54 provinces, one government, one leader. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And of
That's
course, he's
correct.
recognizing that healthcare is a human right and should be
Yes.
accessible, free at the point of use. We pay for it via our taxes. I think that's fair enough. And if I may, Chief Mont, I just want to give a few additional highlights of achievements I note for the past 12 months or so, that he is, this regime had moved against and frozen assets of suspected destabilizers, those organizations, individuals who sought to destabilize the country. He's frozen their assets, taken control of their assets. Now, he's expanded the industrial mines nationalization strategy. So, of course, taking greater control of the mineral resources, which include, of course, not only gold, but of course, uranium, yeah? Copper, steel, all those other vital, cobalt, another one, all those vital minerals necessary for a technological society. Okay? He's also, of course, recently announced, of course, exit from ECOWAS, and it, of course, formed the AES, as you mentioned earlier on,
Yes.
again within the past 12 months. He supported for Atlantic access through Morocco, another achievement this within the past 12 months. Oh yes, this is fantastic. Okay. He's also, and this is an interesting one, which I had to look into further, sought and has achieved the dissolution of the Electoral Commission. Now, I found that to be a curious one at first, but I understand the reason for this because it was in the hand of foreign actors. Okay, and they were determining the conduct of the elections, and of course, had been complicit in the previous regime being able to maintain their position. So a new structure has now been established. Okay, and I found interesting because Land of the Upright Men, it launched the launch of the anti-desertification and anti-malaria campaigns. Okay, so of course when we say Sahel, we're talking about an area between the desert and the lush land. That area which is the in between. What he's seeking to do there, of course, is to bring that land so he could use for farming and cattle grazing, and the major investment into this, and of course anti-malaria campaign is critical to ensure the health of the nation. Okay, and there's much more I could say, but there's just a few highlights I want to bring to the audience attention just to help this interview along. Okay, my next question for you, though, Chief Abundance. We know the government's encouraging diasporans like myself and others, tens of millions of
Yes.
us, indeed yourself, to visit and invest in Burkina Faso, and we welcome this. But a question I must ask: how are the locals being prepared for the influx of diasporan Africans? Does the policy command the support of the people?
Yes, His Excellency is very aware of the importance of the diaspora. Matter of fact, he has already put certain policies in place, and I am on the ground, and my entrance into Burkina Faso may not be normal because of my high level of engagement here,
Yes.
but it is of a nature that shows the importance and the priority that His Excellent puts on the diasporans that are coming in. And so not only is being felt or spoken in policy, but is being felt on the ground. And going up and down into the cities, the villages coming through, there's nothing but hospitality. And
Okay.
the people on the ground, they understand that we are not two, but we are
Yeah.
one. And
Yes.
so they are ready, and they are with open arms receiving
Okay.
us. And so
Okay.
you are welcome. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. There is no tension. I'm just very
No tension.
conscious, you see. I'm going to press a little more because, as you know, here in Europe and in the Americas, the fascists are attempting to create divisions amongst many peoples. Okay, so that fascist mentality has not seeped into Burkina Faso. Is there a term that you might wish to apply here in terms of the attitude of Burkinabes in respect of the ancestral diasporans, Africans like myself? Do they? You say they welcome us with open arms. Why do they open us? Why do they welcome us with open arms? Why would they want to do that? Why don't they want to welcome people of their own tribe, their own communities? Why would they open the arms to someone who has no tribe, okay, and is now seeking to re-identify with their people? Why would they? Why would they open their arms to this? Tell me.
Everything, a lot of things that we do, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that we accept, even in the
Yes.
West,
Mm-hmm.
comes to us through leadership.
Yes,
Nothing rises above leadership.
indeed.
And we are being indoctrinated by
Mm-hmm.
and controlled by the
Mm-hmm.
media. By the
Yes.
media.
Yes.
His Excellency is not leading from behind, he's leading from the front.
Okay.
He is creating the awareness, the education,
Mm-hmm.
and the atmosphere
Okay. Mm-hmm.
so his people are listening, and they are taking cognizance and
Mm-hmm.
preparing themselves
Mm-hmm.
from what they would have learned. A lot of us
Mm-hmm.
have to relearn, unlearn,
That's right.
to relearn.
Yes.
And so I am, as it were, a chief being honored with two chieftaincy from Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
And in Burkina Faso, I should have left a week or so ago. But one
Mm-hmm.
ambassador looked at me. We were driving from one city. He says, American, you will not go back. Everything
Okay.
you need is here. I said, what do you mean?
Yes.
He says, if you want wives, we will give you two.
Oh. Oh. Look, I could cope with two, but continue, please.
Everything is here for you. The opportunity
Yes.
is here. The opportunity is here. The country is
Yes.
open for business. The
Yes.
president is serious about economic and social development.
Yes.
The president is serious about tackling inequality. You
Yes.
are welcome. This is a matter of fact to the point that there is a policy where His Excellency will issue diasporan
Mm-hmm.
citizens to this
Oh.
country. It is a
Okay.
policy
All
that is in the
right.
making.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So
If I
His
may,
Excellency is very serious. Very
can I
serious.
just pick up on? I want to pick up on this point because it's a very important and sensitive one. I found when speaking to our brothers and sisters in other countries, particularly Ghana. The question I put to a number of monarchs in Ghana is that you have these diasporans who've now come in and want to become Ghanaian citizens. Have you incorporated them into your tribe, into your communities, take them through the appropriate ceremonies that they can become one and identify with whichever community it is, whether it be an Akan community or Gar community or others? Have you absorbed them? Is there a rites of passage a ceremony, you provide for the diaspora, because there are hundreds of millions of your cousins, of your brothers and sisters overseas, who look into Africa, but feel strangers to their homeland. And what we require, I would assert, is an open arms, absolutely, but the incorporation of ourselves into the culture and tradition, and be taken through the ceremony so that my English name is no longer. Mhm. Yep. I've gone through the appropriate ceremony. I've been incorporated. I'm now a member of a tribe, a people, an identified community. And I have to say, there are hundreds of millions of those rites of passage that needs to happen. So their consciousness is enjoined. And that is my only recommendation to you, the advisor to the regime, I would strongly recommend happens, okay? Because this is both a spiritual and indeed psychological process, so that we can be of the right mind now that we visit and want to live in the country, we become a part of the land.
Yes, and I do understand with you, and I also synchronize with your thoughts. In every country I go, I've been given a new name.
Ah,
In every
okay.
yes, in every country I
Yes,
go to Ghana, they said I am from
yes.
Ghana. I go to Nigeria, they say the way how you think, you do business, you're a Nigerian. I went to
Yes,
Cameroon, they said I should have been. I believe I'm from Cameroon, but you know, most of the slaves in the transatlantic era came from Ghana.
yes, yes, that's right.
Yeah, most of
Yes,
them, most of us, our descendant came from Ghana. You know,
yes,
along the
yes,
the border, the Cameroon, you know, Nigeria,
yes,
and so forth.
yes,
So I understand what you're saying, and of course, there is a diaspora office on the ground. There are people that are working, especially in the area of ease of doing business, to able
yes.
to have the diasporans, you know, settle in
Okay, right. Okay,
with
yeah,
comfort
good.
and information, you know, ease
Right.
of doing business.
Yes.
It is very important.
All
Yes.
right. And we're almost out of time, but two more questions for you. Are the again of the diaspora living here in Europe? Okay, but are we still subject to the usual visa restrictions when entering Burkina Faso?
Yes, as it is now, yes.
Okay.
As I said,
Okay.
it is a policy moving towards breaking down that barrier.
Aha. Okay.
Is there a time frame? I cannot
That's
say
my next
in 2 or
question.
3 weeks. Yes, I cannot
Okay.
say
Good.
in 2 or 3 weeks, but I have had that discussion with the top advisors to the president, and
Hmm.
they said yes, it is something that we are working on, and the president is a part of the president mandate
Right.
to incorporate us as not only.
Right.
I think what Ghana did was probably a scam because it never
Oh, oh,
really,
oh, hold on, hold on.
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes,
No, no,
because
sorry,
it never
Mister.
really
Hold on,
materialized.
Chief. Hold on, Chief
It's
Abundance.
never
Hold on.
really
Uh,
materialized into what it should be.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
going to
a
call it a
scam.
scam. Hold on, no. Again, I don't want to call it that because there are Ghanaians watching. Okay, we don't want to cause offence at this point.
No,
We
I'm not
may
talking about
question.
diplomacy. The policy.
Sorry, my chief.
Go ahead.
Hold on, chief.
Yes.
Chief. We may wish to question its effectiveness. Okay, and that's
Mhm.
fair. I'm not going to call it a scam. We may question its effectiveness, but I note, of course, that Ghana was the first country to have that year, or indeed more than 1 year, of
The year of
return.
return.
Okay.
The year of return.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Mhm.
Absolutely. And so they've set the scene for other countries to follow, and we hope that happens. And clearly, the Captain President, His Excellency President Ibrahim Traore, is of course will indeed open up Burkina Faso. Those of us of the diaspora, the historic diaspora, are able to visit, indeed live and work in the country. So I don't want to cause offence to anyone. So if I may, we may question the effectiveness of a policy,
All right,
but we do
no
not want to
problem,
cause
sir.
offence. Thank you, thank you. But I do want to say this to you, though. I still want to say this to you because So we talked about the access to the country, and you said that we will require a visa. Okay. The motivators show, indeed, I will be in the country next year with a plane full of diasporans. Okay. I'm going to put it, if I can, on the screen, details that will be suitable for others. No, not this one here. Sorry about that one. Not that one. Find the right details in a moment. It would be important for you all to pay attention to this because it will be an important step forward. It's intentioned we will take between 200 to 300 diasporan with us. In fact, let me put it on the screen for you. Let's put it on the screen. There we go. There we go. There we go. Put it there. So that's the email address you will use. And here we go. Those are the details. So we intend to visit Burkina Faso between the 26th of January to the 9th of February. Okay. Those of you who wish to join with us, okay, we've got over 200 acceptance thus far. We simply need you to send a message to our email address. And the email address is an obvious one. And the email address is as follows. The future is Burkina Faso at gmail.com. Sorry, outlook.com, that's right. And I hope it's easy to remember. The future is Burkina Faso at outlook.com. There you are. Send a message to us. We just need your name, the country which you currently reside, and you simply say to us that you are interested to visit with us. We will then follow on with the details to you. Okay. Very important trip. It will be a plane full of historic diasporan Africans visiting Burkina Faso on those dates. It will be truly an inspirational experience. Truly an inspirational experience. Now, our time is almost closed, Chief Abundance. Okay. You provided us with quite a lot of information. There's much more I could have asked of you, but for now, we do this in bite-sized chunks. We can always get you back again, and we can look specifically at specific sectors. That's okay. What is your closing message to the people? What would your closing message be?
All right. I want to thank you very much. But I want to end by developing the point I was trying to make earlier with the introduction of the Abundance Afro Diaspora City and and everyone's ability to participate in this movement, whether you're here or not. And one of the things is to get connected with the Abundance Community Coin, which is a digital asset. If you go online, the Abundance Community Coin, we that coin is already been registered, partnering with a financial arm here, and is expected to be in the financial system, even to the level of the central bank, as one of the digital assets. And so, if you want to support what is happening here in Burkina Faso, if you want to support your own financial independence, because we understand what blockchain has done. For example, Bitcoin in 2009, if you had bought $15 worth of Bitcoin when it was at 0.003 of a cent, you would have gotten 5,000 Bitcoin for $15. Today, the price of Bitcoin is over $117,000, $118,000 for one, which means that your $15, 15 years ago, if you had bought and not sold any coin, you would have been over 600, having over $600 million in real assets today with $15. So we are using this technology as Donald Trump would have echoed it during his campaign, that he will use this technology to pay off the debt of America. We are saying it is the only digital coin globally that is created by people of color. And we must learn to support our own and to create our own economy. So before I leave, I want to encourage our brothers and sisters to be a part of this financial emancipation, because it is not enough to be physically free. And Marcus Garvey, in my parting words, Marcus Garvey warned us that any race different than ours that brings us an economic blueprint or an economic solution, know that it is one of enslavement.
Yes.
Know that it is one to enslave us. And we have seen too many economic projects in Africa that have enslaved our people, that they have been now selling their most precious enterprise to foreigners because they cannot repay their loan. The airports are going, their ports are going, because the economic module is one of enslavement. We have to be careful. We have to be careful with the loans and the agreements that we are
Indeed.
entered into, because
Indeed.
they are financial trap. And so
Yes.
I say to my people, Burkina Faso, the door is open. Your humble servant, you can say abundance, your de facto ambassador extraordinaire, special envoy. But what I am saying is that Burkina Faso is open for business. And the president have set the stage for us to participate and to change our narrative, to open up economic. And by the way, I forget to make this announcement. Next year, also in November, around November to December, we'll be having the biggest musical, cultural, and trade festival in Burkina Faso, where we're inviting all the countries in Africa, all the countries in the Caribbean to come together in one cultural, musical, trade environment. We're talking about creating the economic, creating awareness, create tourism.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
of course, I have been entrusted with the media to create that media connection with the diaspora, to be able to have this dialogue on an ongoing basis, where we can reach out in real time to speak and to show the world who we are and what we are.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Said. Well said. Live from Mogadishu. Yes, Chief Abundance. Yeah, you've heard him live from that country. There is no suggestion of impoverishment or decline. It's all optimism and growth. That's what I can see. This is the place to be. This is the place to be. That's a place to go to. Okay, both for leisure, for business. Hey, us men, we might even find a wife, you know, or the women might find husbands, he says, you know. There you are. Oh, come on now. Yeah, the future is what we make it, you know. And the motto of these podcasts is that, you know, we must translate our words into action, because success is ours for the taking. For the taking. It's very much a mindset. Chief Abundance, I want to thank you for being an outstanding guest today. And I can see that there's much we need to discuss with you. So we'll get you back in a few months' time. There's a few months' time. But this was just a taster. Just a taster for the audience, just a taster. This is a first of its kind thus far that I've seen on social media. So we want to thank you for breaking ground in this regard.
Thank you.
But the future is what we make it. Chief Abundance, your life is full of abundance. I've noted it. I have, he doesn't know this, I've spent many, many hours researching to understand this great man. I want to thank you. Thank you. And I want to be a little childish. You know me, I want to be a little childish. I want to clap. I want to give you all these other accolades. Oh my God, yes. That's what I want to do. Yes. More claps for you. More claps for you. I can hear them clapping for you right now up there. They're actually clapping for you, all right? Don't you worry. More claps for you. More of it. More of it. Wow. More of it. More of it. It doesn't stop here. It's never going to stop. I want you to remember us. I want you to remember us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I can only tell you the young ones love it. There you are. But the energy that flows here, thank you. The future is bright with people like yourself near the helm. And please, on behalf of all those who watch and listen to the Motivator Show, extend our best wishes and regards to the good president and all those involved in good governance in Burkina Faso.
Yes, Your Excellency, we have not spoken about the school, the initiative of the president.
Oh,
did you forget that?
We can. Yes, in fact, let's spend 2 minutes on that. If let's just spend 2 minutes, do you want to highlight what you want to do in that regard? Yes, go ahead.
Yes. And of course, as I was telling to you, that His Excellency is looking to do 2 primary school in his district. And of course, I've spoken with you and I've put the challenge out to your community that
Yes.
is an initiative that I think that your community can bring to the table. And so I have set the stage for that to happen so that it could be a partnership as well from, start from primary to secondary, but it's just an initiative. I think that, you can lead and take charge. And of course, your visit, I will need to have your inner circle so I can, give you that special entrance, VIP entrance into the country as well. Thank you very much.
We look forward to that. And yes, don't you worry. We have it planned. Don't you worry. Chief Abundance, thank you. Thank you for being an outstanding guest here on the Motivator Show.
You.
And we look forward to working with you now and to long future. Take care.
Thank
My
you.
blessings to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right.
There you are, people. There you are. Powerful, powerful, powerful testimony. And what I want to do was, I've got your attention here. It just reminds you of the visit, our visit to Burkina Faso, which would be an important one. If you could join with us, you can see we'll have access in ways which are unusual access. Okay, so let me put it on the screen for you all. Here we go. Not that one. Okay, we do not that one. We try it again now. Change that. Forgive me. I'll take that off. Shall I? That's not the right one. Okay, there we go. Never mind. Never mind. We'll get it up in a moment. Get the right one up. But what we want to do here is note for you the opportunities that are available in that country. Okay? And if you join with us, come along with us as part of our delegation, we'll make sure you are treated well. We'll make sure that you have the best access. You can ask all the questions that you need in order to satisfy yourself of what is right for you. Okay? And hopefully this time I get the right message up. Have I got the right message? There you go. Got the right message up. So the Burkina Faso, our voyage of discovery. If you wish to come along with us, send an email that expresses interest. The future is Burkina Faso at outlook.com. That's the email address. The future is Burkina Faso at outlook.com. Of course, the dates are between the 26th of January to the 9th of February. Okay? So we need your indication as ASAP. We are planning ahead and we'll make sure it will be amongst the best experiences you've ever had in your lives. Very, very important. It's there on the screen. There is the email address to send your expressions of interest. The future is Burkina Faso at outlook.com. There you go. All right. I'll put it in the comments section of this podcast, but it'll be vital. Those of you who wish to attend, come along, send your details through, and we'll then furnish you with all the necessary information to ensure that you are able to attend. Okay. If there are some I know who require some support, that's fine. What we need is, in fact, we will have a planeful. We may want 2 or 3 planefuls of historic diasporans to come along between those dates to visit the country, every part of the country, all the tourist areas, okay, all the business areas, the places where you can live, the places where you can grow a family, or places where you can retire. So all your assets are there. The country's under excellent governance, as you could see by those independent economic figures I quoted earlier on. Even the Americans have had to admit that there is growth, there's greater security in and around Burkina Faso and the AES states. There is no doubt. And why I will be going. I will be going. I will be going with you. With you. I'll be going with you. Get your messages in. Let's get this going. I'm put it up on the screen again for you. The Burkina Faso Voyage of Discovery. The email address to send your expression of interest is thefutureisburkinafaso@outlook.com. Dates are, of course, for your diaries, the 26th of January to the 9th of February. There you are. You have it in one. And if in doubt, ask questions. Please ask questions, okay? We'll respond to all your questions, so this will be as smooth and as pleasurable and inspiring experience as you could possibly expect. And you can expect, as I'm involved, it most certainly will be all those things, and I'll strive for more. Okay, right. So I hope you found that episode of the Motivator Show useful. We will re-edit this interview into 3 parts, so it's in bite-sized chunks, okay? But I want you, please, to share the link to this live show, which contains far more than just this interview, with your family, your networks, and beyond. Within the next 48 hours or so, the re-edited version with all the various links and graphics will be on the screen, so you and your network can fully appreciate the magnitude of the information we have shared. Because together, we will make the difference. So if in doubt, ask questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm now going to play the intro video, which sets the scene for what is to come now and into the future. And those of you who are part of the historic African diaspora will understand the essence, the purpose behind the intro video. Watch it from the beginning to end. I know you will all be moved by the experience. Praise be. Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper. Because together we will amaze the world with our collective achievements. Praise Jah. What happens when we, the African diaspora, visit Burkina Faso? We welcome you. We welcome you. Yes, we welcome you. You're home. You're home. This is your home. We welcome you. We welcome you. This is your home. Burkina Faso, the landlocked country, its capital is Ouagadougou. It's bordered by Benin, Ghana, Togo, Nigeria, Mali, and Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire. The land of the upright men. My whole life, it felt like a piece of me was missing. It was more than just a feeling of out of place in America, Britain, or Jamaica, or a simple curiosity about my ancestors. It was a deep historical ache I just couldn't explain, a phantom limb, a sorrow that wasn't even mine, but I carried it every single day. Some people called it 400 years of intergenerational trauma. I just called it a ghost, a constant quiet hum of displacement, living right under the surface of my life. Finally,
I decided I couldn't live with that ghost anymore. I had to face it. I had to find its source. So I booked a ticket to a place I knew only from maps and headlines. Burkina Faso, the land of the upright men. That wasn't a vacation. That was a pilgrimage. I went to Burkina Faso not just to find that missing piece, but to make it whole again, to heal it. This is the story of that journey. The decision to go to Africa wasn't a thunderclap moment. It was a slow burn, 1,000 tiny paper cuts to the soul. I felt it in history books that start with our humiliation, as if our entire story began in shame. I felt it in the well-meaning but ignorant questions from co-workers about my hair, my culture. But where are you really from? The question always hung in the air, a constant reminder that I was seen as other, a guest in a house my ancestors helped build. I tried to fill that void. I read books, I watched documentaries, I even traced my family tree until the trail went cold. Washed away by the tides of the Middle Passage. The information was important, sure, but it felt sterile. It was like reading a description of food without ever tasting it. My soul was still starving. Historical trauma isn't just a concept, it's something alive. That inexplicable anxiety, that feeling of always being on guard, it's the inherited coping mechanism that were once about survival on a plantation, but are now just detrimental to our mental health. It's looking at my own hands and wondering whose hands they look like. From time to time, a place I never know. The pain of that disconnect, that deliberate erasure of memory and culture became a physical weight. It was a heavy coat I couldn't take off, even on the sunniest days. Eventually, the why became louder than fear. And why Burkina Faso? It isn't one of the more common destinations for the diaspora homecomings like Ghana or Senegal. Maybe that's what called me to it. It felt less like a well-trodden tourist path and more like an unwritten chapter. I read about its revolutionary history, the legacy of Thomas Sankara, and its name, the land of the upright people. I was drawn to the spirit of resilience. Then I heard about the current movement under His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré. A renewed push for Pan-Africanism, an open invitation for the diaspora to return, to connect. It felt like more than just a welcome. It felt like a recognition, a country actively saying, "We see you, we remember you, come home." The moment the plane's wheels touched down in Ouagadougou, something inside me shifted. The air that hit my face as I walked down the steps wasn't just hot and humid. It felt ancient. It felt familiar. It was the kind of air that holds stories. My first breath of Burkina here felt like an exhale I had been holding for a lifetime. The drive from the airport was a beautiful assault on the senses. The red hearth, the vibrant colours of the traditional Faskeldan fanny cloth on the street, the symphony of horns and voices, the smell of wood smoke and spices. Everything was new, yet nothing felt foreign. The West often paints this picture of Africa that's all about poverty and conflict. But what I saw was life, resilience, joy, community, and a hustle that was deeply familiar. I saw people who looked like me, not just their skin, but the curves of their smile, the gesture of their hands, the way the mother held her child. It was like seeing pieces of my own reflection in a crowd of a million strangers who didn't feel like strangers at all.
Society more
One afternoon, I'd sat with a group of elders under a massive bamboo tree. We didn't share language perfectly. We shared something deeper. Through a young translator, they told me about their village, their ancestors, their traditions. They spoke of Bikindi, the idea of integrity and uprightness that is the core of the nation's identity. They didn't see an African diasporan. They saw a descendant who'd been away for a very long time. One of the elders, a woman with eyes that held generations of wisdom, took my hands. She looked at it, then into my eyes, and she said something in the Maori language. The translator whispered to me. She says, "You have the hands of our grandmother." She says, "The ancestors are happy you have returned." Tears ran down my face, not tears of sadness, but of recognition, a deep soul-shaking recognition. In that moment, 400 years of distance collapsed. The ghost I had been living with finally had a face, a name, a place. It wasn't a spectre of trauma anymore. It was the spirit of my ancestors, our ancestors, simply waiting for me to come back and listen. I met through a traditional leader, a man whose practice stretched back through his family further than anyone could count. It wasn't some mystical figure from a movie. He was a quiet, dignified man who knew every plant in the area and had a profound understanding of the human spirit. I told him my story, the feeling of being disconnected, of carrying a sorrow that wasn't mine. I told him about the ghost. He listened patiently, his eyes never leaving mine. And when I finished, he didn't offer simple comfort. He just begun to prepare a mix of herbs, explaining that the body and spirit aren't separate. To heal one, you have to address the other. He said the wounds of my ancestors were carried in my blood, not as a curse, but as a memory waiting to be acknowledged. It led me through a simple, quiet ceremony. It was an internal process of remembrance. He asked me to speak the names of the family I knew, and then just to hold space for the ones whose names were lost. He spoke of the land, of the soul beneath my feet, and how it was the same soul my ancestors had walked on. Returning to the land, he said, was the first step to reclaiming the spirit. And as I sat there, something profound happened. It wasn't a lightning bolt. It was a quiet settling. The constant low-grade hum of anxiety that had been the soundtrack of my life just stopped. The weight on my shoulders didn't just lighten, it dissolved. It felt this overwhelming peace, a feeling of being completely and irreparably home, the feeling of a fractured bone finally setting right. My healing felt personal, but I realized it was part of a larger collective moment, a collective movement, the Pan-African vision of leaders like Thomas Sankara and the current spirit of revival under His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré. Isn't just a political rhetoric, it creates real pathway to healing. When a nation actively works to reclaim its own identity, It creates a space for individuals to do the same. The spiritual welcome and the powerful statement that your identity wasn't just stolen, but that it can be found again. This is a government, a nation, acknowledging the wounds and actively offering a suture. I came to Burkina Faso to heal myself, but I discovered my healing was tied to the healing of the continent itself. The ghost is gone. In its place, there's a chorus of ancestors. They don't haunt me, they ground me. They are the source of strength, not sorrow. My trip didn't magically erase 400 years of history, but it reframed it. It gave me a beginning to my story, a preface to the chapter of our humiliation. And in doing that, it changed the meaning of everything that came after. My story is no longer just about trauma and survival. It's about heritage, resilience, and a deep, enduring strength. This pilgrimage wasn't an end, it was the beginning of living my life, not as a fractured descendant, but as a whole person. If this story resonates with you, please like the video that follows, or indeed subscribe to the Motivated channel. And if you wish to take this journey with us, join us on our trip to Burkina Faso, which begins on the 26th of January through to the 9th of February. You are all most welcome. Thank you.